It's all right. It was me working last week, which is why we didn't do this anyway. And I've just had Hulk message us. It's 8 o'clock. Where are we? So let's go live.
We here.
And welcome to another episode of the... God, it's been a month since we've done one of these. I've just realised. Yeah, it's literally like been a month since we did one of these. I'm glad I actually remembered where the button was to do the fucking introduction there.
I don't normally.
Yeah, sing the... What was it? Fucking Little Britain. I'm going to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are all well, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Chairsofter Show, where we are joined by Silky, Daf, and Phantom to go through the Gunman Midlands Weekender. We did invite one of Griffin. They haven't come through yet.
Decided to ignore us, you know.
Yeah, so if she joins, she joins. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Monkey won. That's the main thing. So, yeah, let's just go straight into it.
Because we haven't actually got any news either, have we, to start the show off with?
No, our fucking secretary's letting us down at the moment. Not secretary. No, not even the secretary. No, it's the...
I'm not the
research no, yeah, executive research desk. Sorry, I got the title wrong. I knew I'd get something wrong in the start of it. Chesney's fucking letting us down with the news.
That's because he's eating bags of crisps at the moment.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, we'll come on to him in a minute. He's just joined on the Instagram feed, so we'll come back to him in a little while. Fucking Hulk. Never trust that bloke again. So yeah, let's just go on to it. So I think Ailey's done a list of things to discuss. You did, I think. It was a note, wasn't it? You sent it to me, but I haven't got it to hand.
Adam's got it on his screen.
Where do we start? Blimey.
We're organised as always.
I think we can preface it with that it was an awesome weekend. I think we can.
Woohoo, our job's done. Come on, let's get out of here.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll join you.
That's what we should have started with. What's everyone drinking?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
We're a bit rusty. It's been a month.
Brewdog. Oh.
You haven't got yours.
Oh no!
So, it's not surprising what I've got. Kerry's probably on juice.
Kerry, where's your squash?
Yeah, just about.
Oh, it's a Lucas 84.
Oh!
Do they still do the fucking lids?
What? No Aussie lemonade for you?
Oh no, he's probably drunk it all.
Well, it's funny you should mention juice.
Elvis juice.
Elvis
For the man himself.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I'll let you know.
Can vouch Elvis's juice is good, and that's what I'm saying about.
But you can't buy it in a full pint at the actual bars. It's 2/3 of a pint, not a full pint.
You can if you go to a fish and chip shop.
Hulk being dihydrogen oxide for him. There's always one. Yeah, so we've got why is Phantom wearing a mask? Have you got a massive spot on his nose? Yes, he does. Let's just leave it as that. He's actually hiding monkeypox. That's been in the news, right? So
yeah, about the weekend then.
And it's golden, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, as Adam said, I think, was it your guys' first weekend as well? One of these?
Yeah.
So,
considering we've been around for a while. But
well, yeah, this
busy,
is it. I mean, all the most of the time I've been busy or whatever, so it's good to actually set some time aside and say, no, we're going to go. We're going to go to this one, and glad I did because we've already booked for next year. So
yeah, I was the first. Just going to say,
yeah, all right.
Yeah. Andy, you win the Mr. Keen Year Award of the Year.
Yes.
And speaking of which, just so everybody knows, 2025 GAM Weekender tickets are live now if you'd like to go and book.
Yeah.
I will sell out.
Someone
We will
just
share
tried
the
to
link
nick my
on our
job here.
social.
Yeah, I was going to say, if someone sends me the link, I'll put it in the comments as well. Yeah, so part of the reason we got this tonight as well, Kerry's come along because we're trying to convince her to come along to next year's event.
Yeah.
I told you can bring the kids. We always need hostages.
To be
I don't
fair,
remember being part of
Sam wouldn't. He'd not be very good. He's like 6'4".
It's perfect with
Alright.
Craig then.
It'd be
Okay,
absolutely
Gary,
fine.
We have a jail cell.
They've been kicking around as civilians.
It can confirm the doubt. Well, I was in there for a while.
We've got a lab. We can just put him on a stretcher. It'd be fine.
Yeah, you got to keep him still. No, I have been speaking to him. My daughter's interested in playing, but my boys, even if he just comes and chill for the weekend, but we'll see.
Yeah, by all
I need-
means, I'm sure Silky will allow that. Yeah, so let's go from the top then. So we went in on Friday. Obviously, it was strict timings on the Friday.
Yeah, gates open 4:30, didn't they?
Yeah, so there were. We did have to remind some people in our group that they couldn't get in before then because
Yeah,
they
do not turn
would
up
arrive
before
at
4:30 under pain of death.
or worse.
So yeah, it was literally straight in, get parked up, set up camp.
Yeah,
absolutely pain free.
and it was clear from the off what you were doing because you come to the gate. There was marshals on the gate.
Yeah.
You know, there was one at the top, one at the bottom, directing cars and all that kind of thing. So all that was like well organised. You knew where you were going, what you were doing. You know where you were going to go and drive to camp.
And there's plenty of space for camping as well. Like
Yeah, it feels
even
massive.
with the amount of people that were camping, there was still you could have
At
fit least double that again.
Yeah.
Probably like.
Yeah, it was a nice number because you didn't have all the bullshit that we've had in previous years at other events that shall remain nameless, where you've got music till 4 a.m. I mean, we had to deal with fucking Brad and Josh doing karate with each other or whatever it was, man loving or something.
I do have photos of that.
I think we got Emerson to blame for that a little bit as well. I think he got involved in the.
I did hear him
That-
phone up at one point.
to be
What
fair,
time that was, I do not
That
know.
was the most bizarre entertainment I've had at any weekender I've ever been to. And for it to happen at
Emerson,
mine,
put your trousers back on.
it kind of fit in.
It was the next morning when Aiden's like, I just want to play this, and you've just got, I ain't got no sleep because of y'all. You're gonna get no sleep because of me. But yeah, so it was like, as I said, straight in, straight away set up. I mean, I was following Adam and Aiden anyway, but even then, I could have easily found where I was going, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just look out for you guys setting up. The team patch game went in full force during camp setup as well. I think it changed hands about 4 times within...
an hour, if that.
No, I think it was a space of about 5 minutes because I think they dumped it on you, and then I caught Adam throwing it into my car. So I threw it to someone
I
else.
could have been a bit more sly about it.
I think you were that desperate to fucking get rid.
Like a game of hot potato.
And then set up camp, just chilled out. Didn't have to do anything else on the Friday evening really, so we went and got some food. Cracked open a beer. That fucking, I'm never going to that fucking chippy again. If you're in Balsall Common, don't go to the chippy. I was fucking ill.
Oh.
I was not well on the
I
Saturday
was
morning.
fine. It's just you with your dodgy innards.
Yeah, it's because I had the fucking fish, isn't it? That's the only thing that I had different.
It
Never had
wasn't
the fish.
until
Had other things, didn't they? So.
it wasn't until when did we do the test, the connection test? Was it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
When Adam mentioned that you'd been to the chippy and you were bad, I went on to their Google review. Yeah, there's not very good reviews on there at the minute.
Ah.
That'll explain that then.
Unfortunately, I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
No, I think.
No, I was gonna say I was fine.
Yeah, but we had sausage, didn't we?
Yeah.
Pie, and Andy had fish, and that was what.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh,
Well, wasn't it the fish?
And I didn't get the phone call.
Wasn't it fish that killed everyone off in the film Airplane as well?
I was just about to say that, yeah. It's right like lasagna.
Yeah. So yeah, Saturday morning came round. So I missed the Saturday morning, because I
And why was that, Andy?
Yeah.
I
fish,
forgot
another
some
one.
kit.
What
My
did you
evening-
forget?
My trousers. I had to go outdoors and get some new trousers.
Was there anything else happening on Saturday morning? Anything disrupt the safety brief or anything? Just a question.
No, nothing at all.
No, nothing at all.
What are you on about?
I seem to remember it might have been a bit moist.
Mildly moist.
That's a good word, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is all for you, internet. Moist.
Moist.
Just say it over and over again.
Yeah, you know full well there's some people who are like meh, and there's some people go at the moment.
Yeah, I know at least one person who's watching who's going to be heaving at the moment.
I really hope they're wearing headphones.
ASMR moist.
We've got the link as well. So while we're going on, I'm just going to send the link out for the tickets for next year's event.
The safety brief was a bit wet.
Yeah.
Shall we say? We all had to retreat into Marquee. Yeah. But other than that, it went quite well, honestly.
And I'd just like to say, before you lot start with the fucking weather, I stayed a lot longer than half of our team did.
Did we mention anything?
Yeah, you fucking have, cretins. So yeah, Adam and Adi run us through the morning.
Yeah, so we had the safety brief. The safety brief was very clear, concise. Couple of little bits with this. Was it with the safety brief? Can't remember now. No, it wasn't.
No, you did the game brief.
Yeah, that was it. Sorry. So yeah, we had to cut that a little bit short briefly while we all sprinted into the marquee because it was hammering it down, and Emerson was like, "No, we can't do this. We need to go inside." So yeah, we went in there, finished it off, kitted up, went out to our fobs at that point, and then we were given a bit of the plot drop, weren't we? Yeah, and then sort of tasked. We sort of met up with each of our commanders and split
into our groups.
Groups, yeah.
Yeah. So we've got assault, tactical, recon, and command. So we went off into our little groups, and each got tasked with a different, well, not a different thing, but different things, I guess.
Yeah.
Assisting each other.
Yeah.
On the whole.
It was designed. The way I got it was designed so that everything's sort of intertwined and. You're meant to be supporting each other's squads, so as you could all achieve the objective. Personally, over the weekend, I think one of the flaws that we had as a team, it's nothing against the site, but as a team, there could have been better communication with the tasks. I came in sort of, obviously, once I'd bought said trousers, got changed and got into the game.
And the rain had stopped.
Sun was shining.
No, it was still raining when I walked out there. Don't lie to the people.
Barely.
But was there moisture falling from the air? Yes, it was moist. Kind of. So yeah, I went out and there was obviously a bit of miscommunication, so I didn't actually have a clue what was going on when I went out there. So I just linked up with Adam and Adi, who were on a completely different squad to me, just to get some shooting in.
Yeah.
Just
come and get into a ruckus.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just TDM, right?
Always.
It's always TDM.
We had a bit of a dodgy start on the Saturday morning when it was game on. I think it was just a bit of a confusion because we were tasked to go out and look for.
Yeah, that was all my fault. It would help if somebody actually told me what the script and the plot was. The fact that I wrote it doesn't come into it. If somebody had actually explained it to me, it might have helped. No, that literally came down to my poor giving out of instructions.
See, I couldn't quite understand it. Game started, and Daf and Phantom can vouch for it. It's normally Griffin that slow out the blocks, because they're always trying to be a military squad and do all the planning and stuff before they all head off. And it just seemed like there was so much movement from Griffin and not a lot from Munki. And I'm like, Daf, what's going on?
Yeah, we all went. I
just went dimbling around.
Like, I ditched my weapon and I went out walking because he was like, "Oh yeah, you're not going to get engaged and you'll go out."
Well, I wasn't expecting you to go that far. You literally needed to find 3 items that were within 50 meters.
So we went searching, maybe a little bit too far. And then next I hear somebody's like, "Oh, I'm getting engaged." What do you mean you're getting engaged? Like, I haven't got a gun. I ended up running back to FOB so I could grab my rifle so I could go back and engage.
At least you were engaging, which is more than could be said about one individual who will come to in the Sunday chat.
Yeah.
I know. At this point, he was doing everything exactly correctly, helping your team.
He wasn't actually partaking in.
It wasn't
the game.
until the Saturday afternoon that started, because the item he kept asking me, but the item he needed wasn't available.
Yeah. So that's sort of the morning. Is Zach Wildig there? Says, I don't know about you. I bolted as soon as I told I could. First to engage, I think.
Yeah, but he was also. I think
he was on recon,
wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on recon team.
So I'd expect him to be.
Yeah.
But that was all just about, first of all, just easing everybody into sight, because a lot of you are new to sight.
Never been.
So yeah, just being able to see, because the first walk out, especially for the monkeys, you literally walk straight out into fuel depot. It is still fuel depot, isn't it?
From there, you can't.
Yeah, you don't get anything else.
And that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, for someone like me who had never been to the site before, it was a bit of a baptism of fire when Adam's going, go to this location, and none of the names actually tied up with what was on the map. So I'm trying to figure out where the fuck I'm going on his maps, and he's going, I'll go to this, what was it, go to Willow, and I'm looking at the map, and I go, there's no fucking Willow on this map, Adam.
I didn't look at the map. I don't need the map. I didn't know what words were on it.
Well, you did need to, because some places have been slightly relocated on the map as to what we knew them as.
Yeah.
Or renamed for what most players would know them as. So
Yeah.
I'm just on about Nam.
Oh,
Yeah,
stop
threw
it,
me.
you. Nam's moved.
Yeah, that threw me. Because I think, was it you I messaged, Emerson? I can't remember now. I was like, is that right?
Yeah, when I sent you the image of the map.
That was it, yeah. And I was like, is that in the right place?
Yeah,
It is now.
Yeah.
That's another thing as well. You guys were literally building things up the week before as well, weren't you?
We were putting stuff up as you were arriving on site.
Yeah.
I was still out on the field with the truck as you arrived, so we were still building things.
Which, I mean, it just shows you really like how much you were actually thrown into this weekend, really.
The effort has not gone unnoticed.
No, exactly.
These two legends.
I mean, to be fair, we've done it every year. Me and Daf are probably the last. Well, previous years it's been Gunman Munki as well, but previous years we're probably last out of the field on Friday. And there's still bits and bobs that we're talking about, or bits that need doing. But yeah, Friday so the monkey fob, we literally built off the back of what was a Land Rover that's now boxed in, tarped it to make sure you guys had plenty of tarped area.
He's back. Phantom's got dodgy connection, by the way. So
just what you give a fight cheaping out on the internet.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, it was.
Like before, there was 2 Land Rovers there, and honestly, you can't actually tell that they're there anymore because they're all boxed in. And
to be honest, I'd forgotten all about them.
Yeah.
I mean, with the bigger plan of what that area is going to become, the Land Rovers wouldn't have fit in anyway.
Yeah.
And when I measured them up before we started the new structures up at Fuel Depot, it was like, right, I've got a plan. I'm going to do this. Measured them up, and the door fell off in my hand. I'm like, no, we're boxing them in the same box then.
Sorry, Hulk's I missed me. Yeah, so broken for lunch, etc. Hulk, just in response to your question, people on Instagram can see your comment. Q-Ball on Instagram says he loves those type of games as well, where you learn on the move.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you know the site well, it's always nice when they mix it up a bit. we've seen it at sites over the years. I'm sure all of us here really have been to sites, and you go back one day and it's like everything's changed. I remember the biggest one was the jail when they got rid of all the fucking dead zones in
F-Wing.
Yeah.
And started running and nearly face planted the wall because there was a wall there where there wasn't before.
Yeah, Justin's broken through the first cell on the left as you go in through the back of F-Wing. So you know where the blue transit is on the gate? We go through the gate and then there's the staircase coming down. When you go through there, he's put a wall up and he's broken through a cell, so you go round it. And I nearly ran into the wall the first time because I was expecting it to be a corridor.
Is that since I was last there?
I think that was it at the Chairsofter game?
No, it was at the Chairsofter game. I think.
Or it might have been the time after.
I don't know. I never went into a building on that one.
A lot of people didn't. Don't worry.
I wasn't carrying a gun, so never going in.
Yeah. So yeah. Hang on. We've got Dean Brampton saying, "Don't forget to mention the bees." So was that on Saturday afternoon that started? Was this when all the?
Yeah, that was Saturday afternoon.
At some point.
Yeah. I just remember seeing two guys walking around in gimp suits is the only way I can describe it.
Being who supplied those props, Andy, I would say they are gimp suits.
But yeah, so
I thought they were woolly when I ordered them.
They look like Stocko suits.
So
pretty much.
I went back in. I didn't realise that was actually like a secret mission throughout the weekend. I thought it was just two randomers that decided they were going to walk around and watch
role playing or whatever.
They had two randomers that just turned up to site to check on the bees.
In the fobby wobby.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I thought all the role play like
across the weekend.
Across the weekend was on point.
The Irish guy on the Griffin that kept coming up. He was a fucker. He was.
He was ace.
Yeah, absolutely.
At one point, I've actually had to like physically push him back, like, and I mean properly push him back.
I actually saw him sprinting out of the fob, stealing stuff, with one of your commanders chasing after him, and there was not a hope he was going to get caught. Your commander ended up face planting on the ground, and he was gone.
There was one point where I think one of the cartel actually had one of his guns that he was using that had broken, and he's like going, no, that's my gun, I need to have a look and check it. I'm like, no, you're not coming in, you can stay out there.
Yeah, because
I was like, he was like, no, honestly, I need to fix my gun.
I don't care. You're not coming in.
You ain't coming in here.
Yeah, his son was on your team.
Got ya.
That'll be that then. I'm like, no. Can you go out there, please? Thank you.
But that's the point. You stay in character.
Yeah.
You stay in character and play it right. You just don't trust anything you're being told.
No.
Yeah. So
like my arm is like this while he is trying to fix his gun like over my arm. So I'm like, you are not coming any further.
What, Daf? Can you remember what day him and Simon got paid in gems?
Saturday.
So on the Saturday
afternoon,
the role play you guys didn't see from Patrick and Simon. So they came to your fob and they came back with the little stones that were in the bottom of the monkey box. And I decided to add a bit more in for them. I told Daff it was going to happen before I did it.
Yeah.
But because they were carrying them gems, obviously Golden Munki, heavily into voodoo and all that sort of stuff, the gems started slowing them down. And then they went off and they came back and I went, now you're going to start forgetting what you're being told. So Rob had given them an objective to go and complete. They literally walked to the bottom bridge back to fob and I was like, can't remember what you told us to do. And then they were bickering about who was called Simon and who was called Patrick. And it was like, Rob just looked at me and was like, what's going on? I went, you need to work this out, mate.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
It was really, really good.
It was at the point that other players had to take their guns off them because they were threatening to shoot each other. So their own team were disarming them and taking them back in.
Yeah, I think at one point Rob had sent them off to go and check out they'd been given the information by one of the tactical squad. There was a door that was locked, and it looked like a lab. And Simon had sent Patrick and Rob had sent Patrick and Simon off. And he went, "Can you go and check out this building?" And they both come back and they're like, "Yeah, it's definitely a building, mate."
I fucking love shit like that.
Like, he was just stood there like, yeah, great, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
And he sent them back up to the building. He wanted to know what it said on the door. When they come back, they had been disarmed and frog marched back into camp by two of their own assaults because they'd taken the weapons off them because they started arguing outside the white building.
Fuck's sake. So, what was our mission on Saturday afternoon? I think you guys assault went off to fight for the compound, didn't you?
Your mission on Saturday afternoon was to get some C4 back to you.
Yeah, that was mine.
fob.
Yeah. Was this when a certain individual began his fucking task?
He was definitely funny to watch from my point of view.
So to give people context that are watching this that haven't been, when we are split off to our fobs first thing in the morning, we're given a little bit of plot drop, given an idea of like what we're going to do mission wise, and then Daf pulls out a series of envelopes out of his pocket, and these are basically side quests, but they're top secret side quests. So you take an envelope, you read what's inside, and you have to do whatever it is that you've read on your little
and you
on
can't
your little bit of
discuss
paper.
it with any of your team.
Yeah.
It's for you and you only.
So now you've got the background of this. This is where this gets infuriatingly funny. So on tactical, we had to go. One of our guys, I think it was Josh, went engineer. He had to deactivate some C4 that then had to be transported back to our fob. Unbeknownst to us, call sign Hulk.
I think the funniest way of telling this is that when we were under fire, and then take it from there.
Yeah, right. So this obviously continued into the Sunday then.
This was on the Sunday, but just remember the C4.
So just jumping between days. It gets to end of Sunday morning. Me and Adam in a firefight.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, me and Adam in a firefight. I can't remember if Adi was there as well.
I was in the background.
Yeah.
I think I was maybe medic at that point. I can't remember.
Yeah, you were medic actually. Yeah, so you were off trying to heal people while me and Adam under a shit ton of fire.
We were taking fire. We were down.
Oh, we were fucking we were in a fucking shit state, and we turned around and we just see call sign Hulk walking around with a fucking bag of crisps in his hand, a fucking big bag of Walkers in his hand. So me and Adam under fire with no fucking assistance coming to show. Put the fucking crisps down. Get your fucking gun up and start shooting. Unbeknownst to us that the little fucker was putting our C4s back out into the game zone.
So his secret mission was that he had to take C4 that had been returned to our fob without anybody seeing it, and he had to return. Was it specifically he had to return it to Willow, or?
Yeah, he had to drop it off in Willow, and technically he only had to do it once to win the objective.
However, how many times had he done it?
6 times completed, and he was starting the 7th, as I call Endex, on the end of Sunday.
So what he was doing, he was putting the C4s
even
into
better.
his...
At one point, you had 3 blocks of C4 in the fob. The 4th one was brought in, I think, by Josh. He took it off Josh so he could put it in with the other 3, put it straight into his own backpack and walked out. The 2 commanders in the fob questioned him, and he said, no, there's only brought 3 back. Oh, we've miscounted. And they carried on. And he just walked off and dropped it off with Willow.
And you know the first part of it, right? On the Sunday, me and Craig went off to do a fucking sneaky bastard bit towards the end of the Sunday. And as I went through Willow, I was like, why the fuck are the C4s out here? Have we missed an objective today? And I just that was all I thought of it. I just thought you'd put them back out of the game zone for maybe like the other team to fight over or something because they were fighting for Willow quite heavily. No, it was fucking Hulk had put them back.
At one point, your objective was to disable the C4 on the coffin.
Yeah.
And one of the C4s Hulk had put in, he put on top of the coffin, so that had to be disabled by your engineer before they could carry on with the coffin. So it added another minute onto the game.
And our engineer, that's another talking point.
So no, he did brilliant because I was literally wetting myself at one point.
Well, the thing that, I mean, with the C4 thing with Hulk, the bit you didn't see, or I think you were up at Fob at the point when on the Sunday when the cartel leader had a meet up with high command from Griffin in Willow. Before Tom's even arrived at Willow Village, Hulk's been in, dropped a C4 off, and because he's seen the DEA patch on Rob's vest, he's run over and he went, "I'm dropping the C4 off like you've requested," and then ran off. Rob looked at me and went, "Okay." I went, it's something to do with C4, it's fine, mate. He went, "Am I supposed to know?" I went, "You do now."
Another matter.
But he did the right thing because obviously Rob on his DEA patch makes him look important. His like his badge he wears on his hip.
Yeah.
So to be fair to Hulk, he did the right thing.
He comes out at Index with tiny shorts on.
Yeah, that's an image I didn't need and I never need again.
Do you want me to stand up then?
No, you're good.
No, please
People
don't.
might be able to identify you from that.
Series 6, Episode 3, yeah?
Yeah, so
If you know, you
we had
know.
a great day on Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of people from the Monkey side must have just been the way it played because I don't know what could have changed, but they found that the Saturday afternoon was much better than the morning. Was a bit of feedback I heard from quite a number of people. Whether it was just because things were communicated out a bit better in the afternoon or not, I don't know.
It's because you weren't there in the morning, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. But no, a lot of people sort of said that they found that no reason for it, but from our perspective, it played better on the Saturday afternoon.
We spotted the same. It was literally a game of two halves. Griffin absolutely stomped the morning. Monkey stomped the afternoon.
Mm.
I think as a team as well, like our communication improved in the afternoon because we sort of got into it a bit better and we knew.
Yeah.
But I think Sunday panned near enough the same way. Griffin were definitely better in the morning. Monkeys came alive in the afternoon.
Well, let's talk about the Sunday because Lily's been mentioning about Brad and his role play as well. So you'd given them a bit of role play for the. We'll come back to the social side of it in a minute. We'll just run through the game and then we'll come back to the social. So Brad had asked to do some role playing because he'd hurt himself. Blah blah blah. Probably
hazard by name, hazard by nature, as he'd tell you himself.
Yeah. So him and Lily went off and did some role play in the morning, which our team decided to completely ignore first thing on the morning when we went to retrieve the coffin.
No, that's pretty rough. We don't want it.
The TAC objective on Sunday morning was we had to retrieve El Deranged's coffin and take it back down to his grave. Unbeknownst to us, was that we were meant to negotiate for said coffin with some villagers, which were played by Brad and Lily. Which I remember that you said that they were in play from the get-go. So when our team just ran past them and going, "Guys, we need to do something with this," and they just picked the coffin up and fucked off with it.
It was very clearly stated, you need to interact, you need to convince them to let you take the coffin.
This is the thing. So that hadn't actually been communicated as part of our squad brief. So that's not down to you guys. That's down to our commanders giving that task out at the time. Was that they hadn't communicated the full extent of the task? No, that wasn't me. So Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion to say the least. And Lily's saying that me and Brad were a bit confused. Yeah, don't worry, I was as well, because I'm just stood there looking at you two, looking around. It was like the John Travolta gif, where he's literally just like. Yeah. It was literally
that. They had the brief from myself. I think Daf was part of it, but he went off to do something before we went out for that part of the game, and it was. They were villagers. Obviously, they built a coffin with a purpose. They knew Derange had been apparently dead.
We stopped mentioning this.
They had disputes with the current cartel leader, so they would be trading for the coffin. But they wouldn't be approached just from cartel. They would be approached from Griffin as well, where Griffin would want to their high command would like to have a conversation with them, because Griffin were trying to get the villagers away from the coffin so they could go in and plant C4, where you guys were trying to encourage them to let you have the coffin so you could give Deranged a proper burial. And it kind of went belly up to begin with, and I'm like, guys, bring the coffin back, you've not done it correctly. And I'm like, shit, this isn't going to look good.
Yeah, so they ran off with it. It came back. We then defended it and then got airstriked, and everyone was dead. So we then had to try and fight our way back. Eventually got back into was it Willow that it was in?
Yeah,
it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Got it down to the graveyard, and then all hell broke loose in the graveyard for the next hour. Is the only way I can describe it. Me calling for a medic to Ailey, knowing full well that if she came anywhere near me, she was just going to get fucking domed as soon as she came over.
I'm like, sorry, I'm leaving him. He's bleeding out. See you later.
One thing I did like about the site was it's the sneakiest I've been at an airsoft game in fucking ages. Like, running around that site all weekend. Like,
even wearing a Hawaiian shirt, you can.
Yeah, well, this is
sneaky.
it. This is
great
it.
Site.
It's So the Sunday afternoon, I ended up with Craig just fucking running a sneaky mission by ourselves across the bottom of the site to try and get to the fob, because the Sunday afternoon I believe we had to go to the lab and the fob. There were objectives in there, and it was sort of like everyone was just going for those two objectives. Everyone sort of fucked off to the lab, so me and Craig were like, shall we just see how far we can get? And just fought our way along the bottom of the site. It was great fun.
There is also another bit that I've remembered from Saturday that we forgot to mention, that we were screwed over and ended up with a radioactive container in our fob, which was...
That happened on the Sunday as well. On the Sunday too.
Yeah, but that was literally totally unintentional. It should never have been brought back up, and then you let the enemy bring it into your fob. Just saying, that wasn't a great idea.
And then didn't pay him to take it away, so of course he's going to leave it there.
Yeah, I just
were
remember
about to lose both of your lives.
I'm surprised he came back, to be honest. With the way we treated him.
Yeah, I just remember walking into the base and to respawn, and Daf literally just handed me a red band and was like, "Yeah, you're like dead now.
Feeling very ill.
Disease."
Yeah,
So,
you've only got one.
Yeah.
You only can get one medic instead of two.
Again, no, it adds another dynamic to that gameplay, because you've then got to think, right, okay, I've only got one life left now.
Yeah.
I haven't got that second medic anymore, so, right, how can I do this? You have to think a bit differently than you may do, rather than sort of going
and it's good that it's dynamic and that it changes.
I was going to say, like, obviously, you guys weren't expecting that to happen either, so you had to think on the spot and think, right.
But also, it
was
taking out of play the red armbands, which I think both teams could have used them better.
Yeah,
definitely, because there was a few times I realised there was red bands lying around. I realised I'd put one in my rig and I'd forgotten about it, and then I got back to my fob and I was like, oh, I could have medicked somebody there.
Because originally we only put half the armbands out, and because you weren't using them, especially on the monkey side, the second half only came out at the point that I started killing off your lives, because you were all getting radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
I'd have got an engineer to check the canister and turn the canister off. Might have made it safe, but...
Adam Duffy, he was like, oh, have we got any Radaway or Radex?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean the gameplay itself thoroughly enjoyable. It was nice to actually get stuck in.
Which are ready for next year. So
the role playing from some of the NPCs and even some of the players, to be fair, was fucking bang on.
I thought if Zach's still watching, it was great. I heard about him ending up in their fob as UN, but they didn't search him very well apparently, so ended up stabbing a few people as he got in.
Yeah, unfortunately, that raised a couple of eyebrows. And it's understandable. UN is a peacekeeping force; they wouldn't be armed, etc., etc. That's probably
Golden Munki are a criminal organisation, and therefore would.
I did mention,
you did say that in the debrief.
I was going to say,
however,
at the same time,
I do believe that's us dropping the ball a little bit within the game dynamic.
You can understand the confusion to an extent. So, I mean, this is the thing as well. You know, you guys took feedback straight away on the weekend,
and I think you've already solved that, haven't you?
Yeah, we've come up with a whole. So UN, if any of the UN vests are used in any of the film sims or the GAM Weekender next year, UN must not be armed. You cannot even take a grenade.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you will end up losing your team points.
Yeah.
Simple as.
There will be colour-coded vests for different uses, as in different teams, or those that are non-armed. Yeah.
No, this is it,
Speaking of a grenade, there was a point on Sunday where we tasked Josh, one of our teammates, to run with nothing but a grenade into compound to see how far he could get. So he was basically living on a Mark 5 in a dream as he ran, as he does, half naked, down to compound, got into compound, saw 2 civvies, shit himself and dropped it at his own feet. He killed himself in action.
The thing that made me laugh about that, right? So I was fighting around Willow again, trying to get back across the site towards the compound. I'd been hit and I was waiting for a medic, and I just hear one of the Griffin guys shout, "There's a half-naked man running across behind you!" to his teammates.
It's fine. It's just Josh.
I'm just literally standing there watching Josh go like that, and I just went, "Yeah, he does that." Yeah, that's a Saturday. Simon Lamb saying that he startled him and it was funny to watch. It was just fucking hilarious just seeing Josh doing what he does and just call sign LG14 by the way, Silky. He's asked how many players were there out of interest.
We were fully booked, but then from Wednesday onwards we had 1 or 2 drop out on Griffin, then we had 1 drop out on Munki. And then on the Friday night, I found out another 3 wasn't coming. So unfortunately, we lost about 7 players. I mean, they paid for their ticket, so in theory we were still full. Yeah. And we get to a point when we lead into the weekend, or unfortunately the post didn't go out soon enough. But we don't offer refunds after a certain point. If we can sell your ticket on, we can give you that refund, which fair. I believe I did with one of your guys, because I sold the ticket on to another player. But it's I mean, there was one group of guys, they messaged us on the Wednesday to say that one of their team wasn't coming. And I said, unfortunately, we can't offer a refund. If I can sell a ticket, I can do it that way. And he went, we don't want the money back. If you can fill a space, fill it for free. But unfortunately, people have either already made plans. So
it's a bit last minute for a weekender, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I did end up splitting because there was a Griffin ticket that had been open from I think it was the Saturday. I ended up splitting it into 2 single day tickets, and we sold one half of that. But
that's better than nothing, and it's an extra player on site, isn't it?
And he thoroughly enjoyed himself.
60 players. It's a bit smaller than all weekender, is it? Or...
Say again, sorry.
Sorry, is the capacity for GAM 60 overall, from what I remember?
60 on the initial tickets. And then as a martial squad, we make a decision on how many more we open up. So if everyone had turned up, this would have been our biggest number yet, 80 players, 40 aside. That's without your player marshals.
We also have to make sure the teams are even.
Yeah.
You could put 80 tickets out and all 40 monkeys go, but not as many of the Griffin.
Yeah.
So we'd rather slow it down.
Yes, I can think of an event where that has happened. They've oversold one side than the other, and it significantly hampered the gameplay. Adam wasn't at that one, but he went to the one prior to that.
Yeah.
And it literally just fucked the team up for the entire weekend. You know, we were sort of 40 outnumbered before people didn't show up at the weekend. So it's good that you guys do make it a bit more even with the tickets and wait for one to catch up to the other rather than just going right.
It's like I kept saying before we open any additional tickets, we will not open any more until all tickets are sold.
Yeah.
Because it's. I think Daf, you were at the event where we were Government Special Forces, and we were like 15.
Yeah.
And the other squads were like 35, 40 players, and we were so under numbers.
Yeah,
we couldn't do anything on the Saturday morning.
Yeah. You've got like.
But, to be fair, we were only written in for a dog walk, so. Well, because the numbers were low, they didn't write much of a plot for us as a squad, and it really felt a knockback. We went back again afterwards, but nobody really had it in them to give much to that as an event because you'd already lost us on the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing as well. It's that whole the fact that you're just completely demoralised at that point. You know, you've got no motivation to go out because you're like, well, what's the point? We're going to go out and there's 3 of them to 1 of me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get that. One thing we didn't actually explain at the top that we probably should have is how the teams are broken down.
I was going to ask that.
So. I beat you to it. Kerry, you just need to speak up rather than just sit there in silence.
No, everyone's talking. I'm not going to interrupt. I'm listening. It's interesting.
So you've got... Huh?
We're trying to sell it to her.
Yeah.
She's coming next year. Bringing the kids. We got hostages sorted. They'll go in a coffin. It'll be fine.
In the crash.
That's not helping, mate.
I don't know. If you offered to put my kids in a coffin, get on with it.
Yeah, it's broken down into command, recon, assault, and tactical, and they've all got different roles.
Yeah.
And ammo limits based on those, haven't they? So.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, I know recon 100% because it's one that I worked heavily on with Andy. Recon is the only squad that can drop out of their loadout. So Griffin can drop out of camo, drop into, for instance, Simon Lamb did it where he dropped into he looked like a walker, but his orange coat, his jeans. They're the only squad that can wear ghillie suits. Because they're recon, why wouldn't they be allowed to wear a ghillie suit?
Yeah.
And their loadout is 125 rounds, including their backup. However, the thing I need to make everyone really, really clear on, that's what you can carry on you in person while out on mission. You can go back to the fob at any point and reload. So if you've gone out of recon and you've come across, for instance, Monkey Tactical, and you've had a full-on firefight with your backup, once you're shot, you do wait your bleed out time, you can go back to fob, reload, no bother at all. Assault is exactly what it says on the tin. They do the jobs that no one else wants to. You're the grunt, you go and deal with it.
And that's what me and Adam were, and you get a 1,200 round loadout. You can have any weapon except for sniper.
Andy asked me about it earlier. Which one would you do? I was assault. Straight away. That's my game style.
Me and Adam did that this year. I think next year we're going to go tactical for a bit of a change, see what that's like.
I can't remember the exact BB limit on tactical.
I think it was 600.
600, yeah.
Rounds, yeah.
But tactical, they can use
LMG,
shotguns. sniper rifles, DMRs, but they cannot ghillie up.
Okay.
Because we had it not this one, the year before. Myself and Andy got so confused with the amount of ghillie suits out there. We couldn't make our head and a tail of whether it was recon on a mission or tactical doing their mission, and it was kind of like confusing for us as marshals. So this year and going forward, it is only recon that can wear ghillie suits, but tactical
does make sense. Though. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
but we didn't want to take the opportunity away from anyone using the sniper or DMR. So if you, for instance, that's the only weapon you've got, you've still got a team you could a faction you can join and still get involved. So you can still take your sniper DMR out, you just can't ghillie up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'm going for next year is the command side of it. I decided because we were using comms between ourselves. So if I can potentially relay messages from that location, and then I'll happily run comms for a weekend. I don't care. These guys know me. I said I'll go and do it just as something a bit different, because we found that we could actually, between us, we were actually managing to get forces fairly redeployed.
Yeah.
And
definitely worth having a go at it.
None of us had any power to send anyone else out.
I mean, the thing with command, and I've said it to all the marshals in the past, command is a role that if I was able to play this event, I would go command every year. Just simply because there is no weapon restriction, there is no loadout restriction. Just because it says command, it doesn't mean you're in your fob all weekend. Yeah. You can swap out with other commanders to go and get a bit of trigger time.
Well, yeah, because me and Trippy were out on the field quite a lot of the weekend, didn't we?
Like we were backing you up at one point. I think like tactical were with Trippy, etc. Like it was good.
Yeah.
Like me and Andy were sort of debating between ourselves as to which one of us was going to do.
Yeah, I think we sort of came up between us and said, I'll give it a go next year, and then Ailey, if she still wants to, can do it the year after. But it's something. There's nothing better than having decent comms between you. And you could tell when we were getting put on the back foot, it's because comms had broken down.
Yeah. For
whatever reason, we weren't getting the forces where we need them. So we had one point where we told the fob was under attack, so we all pulled back to the fob and there was no one there. So like little things like that.
If we got somebody in the fob with comms, we can just shout up and say, "Fob needs support" or whatever, and Andy will be able to go.
I think there was one point. I think it was Sunday. Might have been the coffin was in like the cow shed, and we were waiting.
This was after it blew up because the engineer forgot that he could open it and have a look inside.
I was about to say, did you remember the short little walk and then boom?
What was that? Say that again.
Did you remember the short little walk and then boom as it all went off?
Yeah.
But there was one point where you needed 4 tactical to actually move the coffin, and I think we had.
We had 3.
We had 4. It moved slightly. Obviously, everyone died, so they went back to fob, and then they were supposed to be coming back, and then we only ended up with 3 tactical, and then I think 3 assault were there, like trying to back them up to be able to move this coffin. We were waiting for another tactical to come along for God knows how long, but because none of us had comms with fob, etc., we couldn't get another tactical. So then I think I ended up having to traipse all the way back up to fob to be like, we need one more tactical, please. We need to move this coffin. We're ready to go. We just need one more tactical because none of us could touch this coffin otherwise.
Yeah.
So just little stuff like that, just to get the next person that comes along that happens to be tactical to come down to us would have been like really helpful. But
this sort of thing where it would link quite nicely on to being able to set up some kind of, I know we've spoken about it briefly, you're setting up some kind of a community or a group chat or something like that. One for Griffin, one for Munki, one that does everybody, like just a general chat. And then that's when I think you'd be able to build up the rapport with the other teammates, because you don't
get a community behind it. This is one thing sort of said I've seen at other events. I was chatting about the guys, but I hadn't got around to filling your form out yet. Sorry, Silky. But
Andy, you're useless.
Who's got a car alarm going off, by the way?
That might be me.
It's arranged.
Very sensitive hearing, isn't you?
I can't do that.
No, one thing I sort of said I've seen at events before is they set up a group that's obviously controlled by the staff, so they can let people in or take them out as they need to, based on whether they change teams between games. That's been a Facebook thing. Obviously, Facebook hates all things airsoft, so that may not be the best way to go with it in future. But if we can get a community set up behind it, it helps get that camaraderie and banter going as well before the weekend, because then we know who we're going to go into battle with. Like, I didn't know Phantom before the event. I don't even know if I spoke to him during the course of the weekend because I can't remember half of it. Because it just flew by. It honestly,
once or twice, I do remember.
Yeah, regular site, we know a lot of the people that were there already.
Yeah.
But for someone like you that's literally turned up new to site, doesn't know anyone apart from like
It'd be good to have that pre-event banter and that kind of thing, because you and me when we did our hiring with Defiant, we were in a little group chat and we were having a great laugh, like probably a good few weeks before the event. So then you get to the event and you're like, it's good to meet you finally. And
that is a good idea. Look, haven't ever been there before. Definitely is.
Yeah.
We are working on something before the next event.
Yeah, it's good to see. Like, obviously, the feedback that you've had so far, you've already taken it on board. You're already looking into things and sorting things out.
Unfortunately, I've got a Facebook ban. My Facebook ban's preventing me from doing some things at the moment. But I will get through that.
How do you post something for you?
Question before I forget.
Yeah, is this the one about the drones? Yeah.
Yeah. James, unfortunately, I'd like to say yes, but some of the drones out there wouldn't be allowed to be used on site. It would have to be, is it a 249 gram?
Yeah, it would have to be fully operator licensed with a licensed user.
Which the other thing, flight path for Birmingham Airport.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I can fly them on site. The weather wasn't suitable for this weekend. Otherwise, it is something I would look at possibly doing. But we couldn't just let anybody do it.
Yeah. So that was another thing as well, because Adam sort of mentioned, because you're right on the flight path for Birmingham Airport as well, you don't want to upset them as well and cause chaos at the airport. So
ground everyone's holiday planes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That's my aim.
Or let off incorrect coloured smoke, that kind of thing.
Yeah, who would do a thing like that,
Yeah, even obviously without the group chats and pre-banter, etc., the banter and camaraderie between not even just like Munki and Griffin, but in between teams, etc., was great all weekend. Like, even when it was Index, like in socials in the evening, everyone was chatting, everyone was
It's that whole you get to the end of the day, and because it is such a small group there, it's like, oh, you're that fucker that got me down in Willow, or that was a fucking awesome shot, you bastard, and things like that. Or
you were that bloke eating crisps.
Yeah, fucking Hulk.
I think
honestly,
Friday
trust betrayed.
I was just going to go on to the social saying, like, Friday night, I think like our team, we bought in a couple of games, we played some games, etc. Saturday night was really good. Daf kind of did a pub quiz for us, which was good fun. Everyone got together, and
S6E3
for the win. If you know, you know. We won, so that was good.
If you don't know, DM me and I'll tell you.
Don't spoil that thunder.
Daf's probably watched it.
Watching it now, hasn't he?
It's got to be up on Netflix.
I'm going to say with the social as well. With the social, I've never seen one person clear his entire team out in a board game like Brad did with us lot.
Oh god, yeah.
With one comment, I'm not going to go into the details, so I don't embarrass him. But he made one comment, and it was literally me, Adam, and I think maybe Keith.
We ran out of the market.
We literally went, nope, fucking done. We're out of here, and we stood outside for ages.
And And then they tried to come back in, and we were all still laughing. They were like, "No, can't do it. Got to go back out."
Hulk saying that he's been told no Chris Monster for 2025.
Yeah, we're keeping an eye on you if you come next year.
We have done that social with, I think, about 25 people playing Cards Against Humanity at the same time.
Yeah,
that was a very interesting evening.
Yeah, it was just nice to have that little bit of downtime, and you had an area as well. It's not people sitting up by their tents. People may have wanted to, and that's fair enough, but. You know, you got the bar, you've got an area that you can all gather into, and like, it was just nice to.
All the staff and the marshals were checking in on everyone throughout the weekend as well. Obviously,
milling around the campsite.
Like you were milling around the campsite, checking in with everyone.
One thing I did like
fighting,
and the lightsaber duel. That was interesting.
It was really nice. Like at other places, you wouldn't get that. Like people aren't checking in or seeing if everyone's okay. But throughout the whole weekend, you're checking in with everyone.
I mean, to be fair, it's something. Daf's done every GAM, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we did the Cool Kids twice, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I've been asleep since then.
But it's something we've done every year. So we'll always walk the camping field. We'll always make people well aware that we're the martial team. We go and above beyond to try and get everyone involved on the Saturday night. I mean,
if we go too far, we'll have Sato and Mum come up, put hands on her hips, and we know we've got to go to bed.
I know you're in trouble then.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say, by the way,
we need to go to bed.
Lily saying, did someone say rainbow Brad Elsmore? I think Brad's got like rainbow PTSD now. I'd just like to say, by the way, before we go any further, you little fuckers, I'm organising a game for some people at work tomorrow at another site, just an after work thing, give them an intro to Airsoft. And South Hearts have just messaged me to say that it's meant to be raining. Because of you lot. I'll be there, don't worry. But yeah,
one of the other good things that Friday that we've actually not mentioned was the ability to leave all our weapons in.
Yeah, on the Saturday night. Yeah, they locked all the guns away. So one thing that this is how to do, for want of a better term, pre-chronoing an AF. Take note. So what the guys did, if you chronoed on the Saturday, you had the option, if you like, to have your guns locked away in their safe zone. So they'd check them in, they'd say that they'd received them, and then that was it. It got locked up for the night, so you couldn't mess with them. So on a Sunday morning, you didn't have to re-chrono if you took that option, which was a nice touch because, yeah.
You've made it super easy on the Sunday. Like, you could just chill.
So much time for us and for guys, obviously.
For that, we had to adapt to it this year because there was a couple of groups who were a little bit uneasy about leaving their guns in the safe zone. I had to reassure them that we had insurance to do so, etc., etc. But they've clearly heard horror stories of other events and maybe even been to that event.
And I think it's fair to be apprehensive, isn't it?
It's your property.
As a martial team, well, as a plot planning team, it's kind of mentioned that if you're arriving on the Friday, we might be able to chrono you Friday night. But the problem I've got with that, if we say gates open at 4:30, we can't shoot any guns after 6 o'clock, unfortunately. So if you're kind of like, everybody wants to set up their tent and things, don't they? Yeah, but it's not only that. It's if it's someone like Keith who got stuck in traffic, no fault of his own.
Yeah,
he's not getting there until chrono would be closed on the Friday. So I think that idea, I don't know, something we have to.
Yeah, it's something you'd have to consider, but
the problem is actually we didn't get off the field doing what we needed to do until close.
You just adding yourselves extra pressure doing it on the Friday when everybody's got a chrono the Saturday morning. So the natural progression from that is just to store all your guns on the Saturday night, and then, like you say, there might have been the odd few. I don't know what the queue was like on the Sunday because I never went to chrono because I just used exactly the same weapons I used on the Saturday. So I'm assuming it must have saved you guys a load of hassle.
Oh yeah.
It definitely makes Sunday morning a bit more relaxed.
Brave, by the way. And there's also a picture of me crying my eyes out over our beloved leader, Elder Ranged, while Silky is just smiling.
I might be able to find that actually. Is that'll be in this album, I believe, won't it?
Possibly.
There we go.
There we go.
No sympathy.
We're just going through some of the photos now from the weekend because,
Shout out
you can
to
see.
Silky, Daf, and Mr. Rook for the photos all weekend.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
appreciate
So is this Mr. Rook's album?
Yeah,
No,
this is mine and Silky's.
Silky's and
Same.
Daf's. We'll go to Mr. Ruck in a second. Stop sharing that. I'm going to switch over to his because did he only do the Sunday?
Yeah, unfortunately, he could only do the Sunday because he had plans on the Saturday. Normally, it's an event he would play. But yeah, real life.
What's with the maple syrup first off?
You missed Rob coming in as a UN inspector, Canadian UN inspector to the FOB. And doing his Canadian accent, going through it all. And everybody kept mentioning maple syrup to him.
Hulk, you missed one, by the way.
That's in the enemy FOB. He he didn't have to steal it from them.
But he probably would have done given half a pound.
And succeeded.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one of Rob.
Why is someone eating a brain?
Why not?
Because they've stolen that from the monkeys.
Plus 10 intelligence.
This was the guy we were talking about earlier, wasn't it? He kept coming up and
Yeah,
he was fucking spot on the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Like every time I saw him, Brad and Lily doing their thing.
Yeah.
Their role playing.
I'd say, I can't emphasise it enough. The role play from everyone across the whole weekend was just brilliant.
Yeah, that's where they tried to pay Lily and Brad with bananas, and then ended up paying them with bananas and air freshener.
Brad looks like he's loving it there, to be fair. He looks well happy with the bananas.
He came off every time he'd been out in that high vis. He came back beaming and buzzing about what he'd done.
That's cool.
He really got into it.
I was going to say, assuming he hurt himself, I think it was good that he actually managed to find a way to keep the bees. It looks like someone's a bit pissed off with the bees at this point, to be fair.
It did get to one point down at Griffin FOB that Rob had told all players that if they enter FOB, shoot on sight.
Yeah, Simon saying that he was checking all Munki Cartel serial numbers on guns whilst quietly eyeing up your map.
There was one point that I think Josh managed to get into their FOB as well and managed to get half a blurry picture of their map before being shot at and killed.
Yeah.
And just to prove that we were out in all weathers.
You can't actually see the rain.
But yeah, so
it was definitely there though.
Yeah, who was it who said, "Oh, it's not raining," and then it absolutely pissed it down on the Sunday? Was that you by any chance?
No comment.
Also, I love how Hulk molesting someone has now become an actual thing.
That's muddy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was muddy.
Action shot.
Hell yeah!
Did actually go out and shoot.
There's our episode one.
Yeah, this is the one who was meant to be here and hasn't turned up. So that's why Griffin haven't had much of a say.
There's the fist bump picture.
About losing.
Yeah, I'm going to say this guy was absolutely solid all weekend as well. Yeah.
He was great until he forgot to check the coffin for C4.
It wasn't until we were all down there and it had blown up and he was like, "You remember I told you that you could search the coffin?" And he just went, "Oh yeah." We were like, "You fucker!"
And he even told him what to do.
I know.
Throughout that weekend though, every time I turned round in tactical, he was there. He had your back the entire weekend. It was solid.
It was ace.
He was absolutely spot on.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
He's creeping up at the bottom.
So this is why he's known as Naked Josh, for those who haven't come across him before. S6E3.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much halfway through the first game of every game day, he will take his t-shirt off. And
I remember the chair softer shoot. He walked out in a full suit. Yeah. I was like, I like that because that's the kind of thing I do. I like a suit. I didn't get any other photos of him in a suit because the next time I saw him, he's wearing boxers.
Yeah.
We've got to get some pictures of Griffin in here as well, I guess, haven't we?
Yeah, so if we have to.
Someone's got to represent.
See the losing team, I suppose, haven't they?
This just looks like pure confusion. This photo's great. It looks like
you have pistol, I have pistol.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Super pistol. But I mean, I've got to say, there was always something going on. There was great little firefights, little skirmishes throughout the weekend.
Andy, scroll up. Him at the end with the boonie.
Oh, yes.
He
got us a few times, didn't he?
He was every
time I saw him or I had an altercation with him, it was both times. It was a grenade being posted through the window. I was down the graveyard and I'm stood there. Next minute, me and Ailey are stood there. This bang just comes in. I've just pushed Ailey out of the way and bailed out the door and tried to go for it.
I didn't even say anything. I'm like, why has he just run off? Oh, that's why, because I've just been killed.
Womp womp.
Going back to this this photo here, Lily started a caption contest.
Yeah, like it, Lil. Go on.
Look at my suppressor.
Mine's bigger than yours.
I start talking about suppressors. Kerry will get the giggles again after the game at South Hearts.
Oh, shit.
Andy, scroll back up.
Leave me alone.
I saw the beekeepers.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Mom.
I actually managed to get out into the game zone from what you guys were saying.
Yeah, it's nice to see her out in the game zone.
Yeah, it is.
Have your safe zone, Mom.
Needs to become a regular occurrence.
Hey, there's a comment for you on Instagram, by the way, from Ross.
Say again.
There's a comment for AD on Instagram from Ross.
I'm sure
there's the beekeepers.
Craig going all out. Of course, and still medicing people dressed like this twat.
I won't be expecting this guy.
Yeah, it's like that Family Guy scene, isn't it? They'll be looking for him. He goes, "You guys are stupid."
You feel bonita? Good, because you look bonita.
Yeah, so.
There were Griffin there then.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's our gas canister, Sydney. There's the B-boys. Oh, he looks happy.
Oh, wow. He looks absolutely thrilled.
He took the jam out of your donut.
The bees.
I can't remember what was going on at that point.
The bees.
But one thing you can see from here is everyone's just getting stuck in, getting involved. There's things going on all the time.
Never a dull moment.
No, exactly.
It's just a shame we had the weather we did on Saturday because me and Daf would have got more photos, but there's no. I mean, my camera and Daf's camera is nowhere near the price of Chris's, but there's no way I'm taking it out in that downpour.
No,
I don't blame you.
I don't think anybody would.
To be fair, from our point of view, we'd each got 40 players to try and manage.
It's nice to get any photos. I think a lot of people forget.
Oh my God, have you seen Lily's last comment?
No, read it out if you can.
Touch tips.
Lily, you're 12.
Brad with I was told the paint job was cool. Craig saying it's all about confidence. I don't know if Craig's one's actually his loadout choice. I mean, this must have been a cold morning because this gave me an opportunity to try out a new radio thing, and we've got things that we need to work through. So I'm possibly going to get a new headset for that because the fist mic setup just doesn't work in this environment, especially when you're trying to be sneaky. And Ailey's going, "I can't hear you down the radio." And it's like me sort of whisper shout down the radio. I know I'm trying to be fucking sneaky. Shut up.
Well, I couldn't hear you. I wasn't lying.
Oh, there's Todd.
I was holding him up at the gate there, I think, to Bob. And there's also a picture of Brad
being searched by a naked man.
Into thinking he'd been, what's the word, like, done over, basically. If you go to the picture of Brad with his gun behind his back.
We just had a monkey ticket booked.
Hey!
Who's booked on?
Can you name and shame?
No, I'm going to keep it to myself for the time being.
Are they on this? Are they in this conversation right now?
I don't know.
Oh,
Someone's grinning. Someone's grinning.
Well, it can't have been me because I booked earlier.
Is there something you'd like to tell the group, Kerry?
No.
oh yeah.
Anyway.
We've got hostages.
But while we're a little bit quiet, again, I'd like to thank Hawk Customs for doing the hoodies and tees and the patches.
Yeah.
At one point.
And a massive shout out to all the Marshall team for all their support leading into the event, at the event, and being that none of us actually left site until about 7:15 on the Sunday.
Wouldn't do it for anyone else though.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's definitely an event I'm looking forward to next year again. Like I was absolutely buzzing for the weekend. Like honestly, I had such a laugh, and it was one of those things because I'd not been to the site as well. I didn't quite know what to expect. Because
not that you haven't been invited before, though, is it, Andy?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
To be fair, I need a thing called money. And I've not had an awful lot of that floating around.
You got a free game to use.
No, I have now, and I will be back up. But I've got to get back from Africa and then get over whatever tropical disease I'm going to pick up, Ebola or whatever it is. Yeah. Do you know what? They're not actually that fussed about Mpox out there. I spoke to the NHS about it specifically, and they were like, "Yeah, nah." You're fine. You'll be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Tells out.
But the vibes of, I think, like as a whole, the weekend personally was amazing. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah,
and I'll be back as long as I can be.
Also, the other thing to mention is the facilities.
Yeah,
we haven't even touched on that yet.
Got proper plumbed-in toilets, hot showers, and they were clean.
Yeah,
right.
Thanks for safe zone, Mum.
Just to fucking troll us, I've just been sent this by an individual. It's a fucking six pack. How did a fat bastard like me not notice that?
He was offering you the crisps, and he was wearing a face mask the whole time.
We were too busy being angry.
Sure how you felt for it.
We were literally, me and Adam were so fucked off by that point because we were in the middle of a firefight getting our arses handed to us, and he's doing that shit.
Like I'm shouting at Andy, I'm last mag, and I'm banging a mag in, and I'm like, oh, get some fire down on.
That's one thing. That's one thing I'm going to look at for a loadout in future is having a couple of buddy mags. So if people run low, I'll get some generic like M4 mags or something. So if they're running low and they've got an M4 platform, I can literally just bung them.
The platform a mag out. 9mm AK. So
Adam just used.
Anyone else is
anyone else is fine. Adam's fucked. But yeah, so like
if you carry mags for somebody else, does that count as you towards your round count?
Shit, yeah, that's a point. Actually, it's all right. I'm command,
it would
so
count
I'm fine.
towards. So if you were running low and Andy chucked you a mag, it will come out of Andy's mag count, not yours.
Because obviously he wouldn't be able to get it back. So.
Hulk, I couldn't get the sound to come through. I think it's because we're live, so we couldn't hear the sound. But we were.
Overall, highly recommend.
Yeah.
Get yourself.
Well, the fact that someone's booked on while we've been talking.
Well, are we're going to get onto any negatives. Did you find any?
David's coming next year.
Well, yeah, we've sort of blown smoke up your ass for the last hour and 18 minutes.
I wonder what that was.
We've also had a message from David Copeland. I'm coming next year, fingers crossed. For those that don't know who that is Hawk Customs.
Woo!
Sorry.
Yeah, boy.
Finally meet the man.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, we shot with Hawk at Ironside, didn't we?
We did. And I think you ended up with one of his patches.
I did, yes.
I spoke to him for years, and I still haven't met him.
Hulk said he's going to get a little chest rig.
I rate that.
It's the IKEA bags that you've seen in the past. People have done plate carriers out of IKEA bags before.
Saying about chest rigs, just really off the random, I actually had someone play a night game last night and they modded a toilet seat as a chest rig.
Have you got photos?
An actual shit rig.
I done a live stream yesterday. I couldn't get photos, but I done it on my Insta, and I managed to get him on there. He literally had the toilet seat over his head in the front, and he cut little arm bits out of it. No idea why. It was
new and clean.
Redneck.
We have had somebody come in dressed as Super Mario.
Yep.
With a sink plunger, and he managed to get several plunger kills throughout the night.
Brilliant.
Fair play to every player, took it perfectly.
Craig, if you're still listening, take note. You need to one up that.
I was going to say, like, your pickle is nothing. We don't want the pickle anymore.
That was at Bravo 1, wasn't it?
Not like that.
No, we've had that at the Grange. He played Bravo 1, but it was at the Grange he got a load of plunger kills. He wore the backpacks. He was using it as personal training.
I'm trying to think of negatives like you asked.
But anyway, there were a couple of negatives, but in no way did they affect the overall vibes of the weekend.
No, this is it. And to be fair, some of the things that were negative were actually out of your guys' control anyway, which is why we've not specifically mentioned them on the show, because you guys had no control over it.
Yeah.
We will just
but you've already mentioned the rain, Andy.
Apart from the rain.
That wasn't a negative to everyone else.
But yeah,
I'm still out.
For those that aren't aware, or for those that are watching, next year's event, they're on the Saturday evening. We will not be doing the barbecue, no barbecue included in the price. But me and Daf are trying to work on something. We may have something in the pipeline. Failing that, the village is only down the road.
It's like literally not even.
You can order takeaway.
Shall I get my redneck on and we'll just get a smoker going?
I mean, me and Daf have done events down in Kings Langley where there was
You're miles away from anything.
And it's kind of like you have to shop for 2 days before you get there.
And don't send me to Asda because I've just come back with a crate full of Nerf guns. No food, no beer. But we did have a lot of Nerf guns.
But yeah, next year there will be no food on the Saturday night. I believe the lunch and breakfast deal will still be available. But yeah, myself and Daf and Phantom are trying to work on something for the Saturday night. If it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, the village is just down the road, like I said.
Yeah.
That was it. We went and got Domino's anyway on the Saturday, I think, because I didn't even know about the barbecue at first. I'd forgotten about that.
So anyway, we're waffling again. So let's get on to a couple of the little. I'm not going to say they're bad points. I don't think they're bad points. I think they're
room for
improvement points. One of the things from your point of view was the side missions, wasn't it? I think there was a couple of people that ended up with the same mission as you, but they were told slightly different versions of how to carry out that task.
Yeah.
So
Which is my bad yet again.
No, it's not your. Hang on, it's not your bad, because the two individuals that got the same mission, I'm pretty sure it was Brad's dad.
Yeah.
And Brad.
And I spent the whole weekend suspicious of Brad, thinking he had the opposite to what I did.
I didn't know who had the other one, because what I wanted you to do was the complete opposite to what they had to do. So that they were tasked to be like proper creepy towards the cartel leader. And when the cartel leader got a bit stroppy and told them to back off, their one line that would come back, well, Elder Range wouldn't have done that. And it was all about that, showing your loyalty to Elder Range.
Yeah.
Yours would have been slightly different, but I didn't know you had it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you were the only one that noticed when I showed up, having been off out of the fob for a little bit, and I showed up wearing a hat and wearing a coat instead of my hoodie. And you were the only person that actually spotted what had changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
the fact that I've been off doing other stuff.
A tiny bit clearer, but
yeah, but
it
that
didn't affect
literally
me.
was.
Still won. Like, I still had a great time.
That was an error on my part in my explaining it. But to be fair, I was thrown by the fact I cocked up the initial start brief.
That's fair.
So yeah, you were sort of.
My head was a little bit thrown there, and I didn't catch back up as quickly as I should have done.
That's fine. But yeah, obviously the others asked sort of later on as well, which I didn't. I just left it as okay, that's fine, sort of thing. And obviously I spent the whole weekend suspicious of them two, thinking they had the opposite to what I did, thinking they were going to be traitors at some point. So. To
be fair, one member of the enemy who they should have joined us this evening actually raised an issue. It wasn't till later that I found out the person she mentioned had an envelope. So he played it so well, he confused everyone at that point. He was so anti everything going on. And they were like, oh, he's been a little bit OTT. And it turned out he had an envelope and he just played it perfectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. You were awarded points because you did spot odd change. You were definitely doing the role right. It was just I didn't explain it in the start, which again is something that we've already changed the way the envelopes are going to be written.
Yeah,
they're going to have a lot more detail on what you're expected to do.
I think that's all it needs. It doesn't necessarily need one of you guys to verbally explain it. I think if the actual wording on the ticket is explained well, I don't think you need any more than that.
Yeah, it was written as a single sentence. It's not a paragraph that's needed. So that's what the next plot has already been written with a paragraph for what you need to do.
So this is it. Like you've already taken that on board. You've already sorted it. So therefore, it shouldn't be an issue going forward. And this is what we like to see. So.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Next one.
Next one. That's Silky.
For me personally, I think because we didn't get to make any of like the film sim events or any of the sort of events that included some more of the backstory, I think on that weekend we were probably just looking for a little bit more of like the explanation of the past, or not necessarily at the weekend. Like I know you did a couple of stories where you mentioned a few little snippets. But maybe you could do it as in the snippets, or if you start the communities.
Just book for the week the film sim events.
Well,
you'll get
now we understand
maybe
a bit
just
more.
like a little story so far.
Yeah, but the thing is, so
as it is,
my planning for my overall plot for this weekend, well, that weekend started way back in. I can't remember if it was October, November last year when we did the night game.
Yeah,
I think. So at the night game, it was Griffin and Munki, because we're always going to use those two teams. It works well.
Yeah.
And Griffin were found out to have had a body farm down at Graveyard. Obviously, they've also been storing what was led to believe was toxic waste down in Graveyard. Well, storing body parts and toxic waste in the same location, you know what's going to happen. So, on approach from both teams to Graveyard, they see a NPC walking into the Graveyard in a bright yellow suit. Bearing in mind it's dark, bright yellow suit. He goes to do a test on a canister and gets attacked. That was where my initial plot idea for this weekend had come. Then some of the film sims has already led us into that. So the overall plot, for those that didn't quite get it, Griffin Special Forces had a team of scientists working on Serum X. Serum X was going to then create super soldiers, but they had some failed testing back to the night game. The tests that had failed have been dumped. At the Weekender, it was going to come out that Deranged wasn't dead if monkeys had worked out the coding on the gravestone. Because on the front of the gravestone, once you worked it out, it said, "I'm alive." And on the back of the gravestone, "I have a plan."
Oh.
So Deranged was going to tell, he did tell Griffin Special Forces that the heart within the monkey box was the missing component for Serum X. The heart is the reason why Deranged has never died. This guy has been executed. He has been shot multiple times and never died. His heart is the monkey, within the monkey. So Griffin's task was to get the monkey box, get it to the lab, start cutting it open. Unfortunately, Monkey were on the ball on this. They got there. I'm not going to say what they were wearing because we're live, but they got their person in the building for the time needed to arm what he was wearing, and they blew the building, destroyed the monkey shrine, which also then killed Deranged, unfortunately, because you destroyed the heart.
Nothing personal, mate.
So there was lots leading into that, and myself, Daf, and Phantom have spoke about it. As much as I like the film sims and the night games leading into the GAM Weekender, if we continue to do that, we're going to summarise after each event. And then
but also,
you could almost do the film sims as like a side.
We're actually doing it in slight reverse. So we've written the plot for the next weekend, and then we'll write the weekend plots, the film sim day plots, just to coincide rather than create a part of it. So you can play one, any, or all.
Yeah.
I think one thing I've said and a few of our guys have said is that we'd like to come to a couple of the film sims as well.
Sure.
I mean, it's only a couple of hours drive for me as well, so it's doable. Even if it is raining, so fuck you, Daf.
Buy some Gore-Tex, mate. Just buy some Gore-Tex.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's definitely worth doing. We're going to be back next year, us guys.
We're already booked, so we've got no choice now.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to go to Chris's comment. It's nice to see that if you are the kind of person who doesn't like roleplay, you don't have to get involved, but you can still play and have fun.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I didn't roleplay, and I still had an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
But the thing that also gets me on the backside of that, and Daf actually did a post, the amount of players we had this weekend, no guns, not dressed in, just going out and doing random stuff and getting shit done.
It was actually one of your teammates who came in and said, "This isn't the kind of game I'd normally play. I like very objective based missions, but I'm having so much fun doing this." And he made a huge difference to the team all the way through.
And that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
If only he'd worn clothes, it would be much easier. But he went out and absolutely loved it. And he admitted it wasn't the kind of game he would normally enjoy. But he was buzzing at the end of it. And from our point of view, that's the one thing we did notice. End of Sunday, during debrief,
lots of
you
smiles.
look around, everyone was smiling.
Yeah.
You're fucked, you're knackered, but you're still smiling.
Yeah, you came off enjoying it, and that's where I knew we'd got it perfect. Yes, there are negatives. We've learned from them. We'll improve it for next year, but as long as it doesn't affect the way everybody felt at the end of it, because that's what it was all about from our point of view, at least.
Yeah, 100%.
And we had a great weekend, and we can't emphasise that enough, I don't think.
Definitely. Cool. And on that bombshell, I think it's time we call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's testament to how good the event was that we've been going for an hour and a half.
And we could waffle more if you wanted, but we're going to save you all.
Yeah, I mean, I have got to be up in 5.5 hours for work, so that's I'm going to call it a day otherwise. But we'll have to do a part 2 sometime.
But again, before we go, I just want to say thanks again to all the marshals the whole team. Without them guys, it wouldn't happen.
We wouldn't have a weekend if you guys didn't run it for
No,
us.
exactly. From us as well, thanks for the event you put on. You know, it couldn't have gone any better, really.
And thank you for bringing the pretty much whole of the gunfighter squad as well.
Yeah.
Cheers to all
absolutely
the
great bunch to play with. Absolutely great bunch.
Every player there made that a good weekend.
We agree.
Yeah.
Without the players, we're just a bunch of blokes stood around in bright pink high visors. It's not a great thing.
That's just a bit weird.
Does no one else do that on the weekend? I do.
You do on a weekend.
Which reminds me, actually, for any of those that are watching that are thinking about playing this weekend, if I can get another market to cover me, I will be playing on Saturday, being it's my birthday.
Damn it! The day I can't make.
Adam, shoot him for me if he plays. Well, actually, if he doesn't play, just shoot him for me, please. Says Adam.
I hope George brings a black gate just for you, mate.
Right, but yeah, so that's it from us. We'll put where to find these guys in the description. But other than that, yeah, take care of each other, take your hits, don't be a dick, and we'll see you guys next